Do-do-do-do-do-do. All right, what's up, everyone? Good morning. Happy Monday, the 6th of October. Post Patriots win, post Broncos win. Just a great all around, great all around weekend. All right, what's up, Mirza? What's up, Lorna? Good morning. Good morning. What's up there, Mr. Peter? Yeah, Peter. I really want to get up to Vermont. Even even over here in my neck of the woods, which is a little bit closer to like the Mass Rhode Island line, we're getting a nice foliage. So can only imagine up there in Vermont and etc. Definitely jealous. But all right, guys, get jumping in here. A few things to discuss. We'll talk a little bit more about this during the opening session. But for those of you guys and gals with the dashboard here, we did push out a couple of updates over the weekend. One update being for a bigger universe. Hit reset filters. Yeah, so we've gone from about 200 names to currently 1,300. And again, we'll talk about working through all that. And then we have columns for market cap, short float, the average true range, and the ATR above and below your 21 EMA. So again, more on that coming later on today. But at a quick peek here, we are in what kind of market? We are in a bull market. Bull market, says the board. Indices, Dow Jones, IWM, S&Ps, RSP, and the QQQ. They all look pretty sharp. And then for your sectors, pretty much everything not named XLP looks pretty good. Energy is a bit more neutral. Materials are a little bit neutral. XLC, XLY is a bit neutral. Silver, gold, XLU, biotech, SMH, Bitcoin, industrials, Cathie Woods, XLK, healthcare, real estate, financials. I think all in pretty good shape. And then for my favorites, the big bad Big Ten, good scores for TSM, Apple, Nvidia, Microsoft, good action off the Google, Broadcom, Tesla, and then I think these guys, Amazon, Meta, and Netflix maybe leave a bit to be desired. So we'll keep on desiring, and then get kind of bigger picture here. Now, what I'm not going to do, what I don't want to do, is go through 1,300 names every day. So first things first, my personality is more of I like Teslas, I like Googles. I don't love the smaller cap stuff. So I'm going to go to market cap, and I'm going to say only show me the mega and the large, the big dogs and the bigger dogs. All right, that cut it down to about 500 names. I ain't going through 500. I'm in a bull market, says the homepage. In a bull market, I'm trying to do what? Get long. So I'm going to say, all right, on that main list, only show me things with a 90 or better. 90 or better, meaning they're at 90% of their strongest score. So I'm going to go to the strength column, greater than or equal to, we'll type in 90. Okay, now we've gone from 1,300 to 500 down to 40 names. I can't trade or look at 40. In terms of a good entry, I like them nice and close to their daily 21 EMA. So I'm going to go to the ATR 21 column, and I'm going to say, show me anything that is less than or equal to 1.25 ATR above that 21. Okay, great. I've gone from 1,300 names to 500 to 40, and now the emphasis on can I get a decent entry? We're looking at about 5. CFG, DoorDash, MetLife, Duke. The one I would like initially is got to be DoorDash. Damn AMD. DoorDash 270-ish, beautiful daily squeeze. But that would fit the theme of what? I'm in a bull market. I want to get long in the bull market. This grades out really good. Good entry, big squeezes. I like it. So again, more on that coming later for the opening session. But quick peek for you there. And yeah, for open trades, we have some Tesla, some Amazon, and some AMD. Just a little chip company. A few of you might have heard of it. For Tesla, we have the 500 calls for January, popping into 440-ish here in the pre-market. I kind of look at it one of two ways, guys. It's either the shorter-term path to 500 without a bigger pullback, or it's a bigger pullback first, and then maybe the path into 500. The third option is it never gets to 500. But I think, in my own account, for those of us here in the room, we're playing with profit. And that is a great thing to do. If it pulls back a bit, you buy a bit more. They want to go from 430 and the 530 this week. We'll be there for it. Key thing to watch is maybe going to be this 4-hour squeeze. In terms of, all right, can we break out or do we pull back a bit? And if you go jump to the 4, not bad, would be a little bit cooler with a green arrow. But all in all, I'm liking Tesla for strong Q4. And then we have the Amazon call debit spread for October. And if you guys want to see a dead body, that would be one right there. We have the 250, 264 for next week. I'm here for the 15, 20% turnaround. The trade's down like 90, 95% of max loss. There's nothing to salvage. So that one is dead money. We got Tesla, and then we also have the AMD. The big man on campus this morning, popping into 220-ish. And yeah, if they can hold that for another 40 minutes, it won't be a bad morning. What do I got here? Well, I've got a nice 30-minute squeeze on the S&P futures, but on AMD, I'm rocking with I've got a good bit too. I have, how many? Yeah, I got 16 of the March expiration 200 calls at an average of 920. And then in the room we bought last week, the 220, 250. Hey, guys, if you're in my room, next time I do a 150-day till expiration call debit, but buy the same trade for the next Monday or the next Friday. There seems to be a pattern here of, we're buying Tesla back at 350. And I think the initial trade was like a 400 call for December. It's like, yeah, if Tesla's really strong in a good market, give it time. They can maybe get in the 400 by the end of the year. Tesla just kind of chuckles in gaps in the 400. But yeah, it's going to be, if they can hold the landing here, it should be a good trade. And here's my thinking, guys. You get a good, 30% gap in your favor. First question, how many times this year will I get a 30% gap in my favor? This is probably for me going to be it. That being said, I will take my profit, and if I want to parlay 5% of it, 10, 15, 20, we can go and do that. But I think a good rule of thumb, you catch a 30% gap up, you try to pay yourself. And yeah, no real sense of what the calls I've got should be going for. 60, let's see. It won't stink, put it that way. All right, so there's AMD. We're long Tesla. We got some Amazon. And then otherwise, jump into Microsoft. Well, first off, why AMD? Why AMD? Why Tesla? And in the trade that didn't work, why Amazon? All the same exact reason. Bigger time frame squeezes, bigger market leading names. Monthly chart, weekly chart, 2-day time frame, 3-day time frame, and to buy them on the green arrow. The green arrow means what? Active squeeze. By default, you got some edge. You've compressed, everything tightened up. There can be a big move around the corner. Squeeze, big 3 score of 15, and a really good entry. Now, Amazon had that on a few time frames. It kind of craps out and just fizzles off. We had that on the weekly, the 3-day, and the 2-day for Tesla. And way more important, you're getting the green arrow a week before the push. 2-day squeeze gets its first green arrow on the 822 candle. They break the thing out on the 911 candle. All right, what about Google on the monthly squeeze? Pretty colored arrows. So why AMD? The same reason. Monthly squeeze, green arrow, and then the timing here with the SMH. Interestingly enough, AMD is kind of playing catch up. But in terms of wind at your back, the SMH here with its own monthly squeeze definitely does not hurt. But that being said, from AMD, we can jump over to Microsoft. And right now, Microsoft has a 3-day, a 2-day, and a 4-hour squeeze. They don't have the green arrow yet. If they get them, we'll get busy. Get busy with some Microsoft. 3-day squeeze, 2-day squeeze. They do have it on the 4-hour chart. 4-hour chart can pack a punch. That could actually work. And then maybe the 2 and the 1. Yeah. I like it. I'm trying to be very picky. I'm really trying to work the less trades, more size kind of mindset. Even more so when these kinds of names have bigger time frame squeezes. But there's a look at Microsoft, and then if you guys and gals got anything for me, get it in the chat. We've had a very narrowed focus in terms of S&Ps, QQQ, AMD, Tesla, the few and the proud. Oh, NVIDIA. How could I forget? Pardon me. How could I forget NVIDIA? Now, interestingly enough, NVIDIA gapping down a couple of bucks. If I want to get really slick here, I can take profit on AMD and then buy the dip on NVIDIA. Maybe. But for NVIDIA, looking at the 2-day time frame and the 3-day time frame. Whoops. Oh, come on. With the book map. There we go. Yeah, 2-day squeeze and a 3-day squeeze. Everything but the entry. Although on a little gap down, maybe the entry gets a little bit more attractive here today. But there's NVIDIA, and then we were looking at Palantir last week. Palantir, decent gap up here. Look for a new daily squeeze in Palantir. If you can't get a daily squeeze, you do have a 4-hour. But all right, guys, that is the scoop here at the open. We're going to manage the AMD trade. We'll see what's up here with Tesla. And then, yeah, indexes are decent, mainly a QQQ pop. Bitcoin going for it. And then, yeah, gold has been the gift that keeps on giving. So for my futures income trading, took a little chunk out of gold last night, and now I am short the crude oil futures. When I can figure out my microphone problem, I'm glad you guys can hear me today. If I do a video, I got to figure out the issue. When I record a video, it doesn't pick up the audio. So I was a little bit worried maybe the mic was just fried. I say that to say in a couple of days I should have some good good futures content coming out. And for me, it's more of an income focus. Like literally to the point where I'm gonna take the $95 here on crude oil because I now want to go focus on what should be maybe a $30,000 or a $40,000 profit on the AMD trade, or whatever it ends up being. But point being, these little trades, and I'm not reinventing the wheel. All right, why did I short crude oil? It's the same exact reason I bought Amazon, I bought Tesla, I bought AMD, gold futures. Same exact reason, but the opposite. So that makes for a short. It's a negative 15, broken trend. But doing these quicker, in and out, hit and run kind of day trades, it's making me a better swing trader. Can be more patient. I don't need the profit from AMD right away. And that can make waiting for a big AMD, a big Tesla, I think a little bit easier. But all right, guys, couple minutes here. I would get caught up in the chat, see what you got for me. But yeah, gold's a beast. Like that's it's the most beautiful weekly trend. And I'm sure the top is in now that I've said that. But yeah, I mean, just like white arrow and you pump it, white arrow and you pump it and you pump it, you do it again, you do it again. You got people out there getting GC rich. Peter, okay, great question. What I'd like to see for a day trade is the same thing I like to see for a swing trade. Ideally on a smaller time frame. Therefore, admittedly, me doing a day trade on crude oil and doing that mainly based on that daily squeeze is a little bit funky. I'm looking at it saying, all right, they're going to fire a daily squeeze short today, which they could. What's easier is you find a 5 minute, 15 minute, 30 minute, 1 hour, like this one from last week, or both of these from last week. Which one we played? Which one we played? So I think it was a 0 day till expiration call, 3,700 call. We jumped in for about 250-ish and change that morning. So 6,700 call for about 250 per contract. Now here's a kicker with a 0 day till expiration option. It chopped around for a little bit after the entry. I think we were down like 50, 60%. And again, for me, there's a difference between a monthly squeeze on AMD with 200 days till expiration. A lot will have to happen to take my max loss versus I'm buying the out the money call on the S&Ps that expires in 5 or 6 hours. That'll get cut in half on just a few minutes of chop. But beautiful 30-minute squeeze, held the buy zone, gave you the green arrow trigger. They went from 250 to a buck and change. Then they got the pop. I took profit at about 5. They went to, I think, 15, 16. But what's the moment in time? It's compression. Smaller time frame, energy being built up, and followed by the energy being built up, we can call for what? Right? In the squeeze, you're compressing. After compression, you get the expansion. I love that on a weekly, a daily, or a monthly chart for a big swing trade. I love that on a 5 minute, 15, 30 for a day trade. Compression says, pay attention. It's maybe fixing the bust and move. The green arrow says, momentum, structure, trend criteria suggests should be a move higher. And very much like a weekly, daily, or monthly squeeze, they're not going to work every time. But I believe that gives you that consistency factor. That could have been your entire week last week. Size to accept the max loss, take the trigger, play the pop, do it again, play the pop. So yeah, Peter, it's no different. Just only thing that changes is the speed. I am wrong, or I'm getting paid a lot quicker usually on a 5 minute, 15 minute, or a 30 minute squeeze. AMD kind of the exception to the rule here. AMD, we're thinking, all right, that maybe breaks out end of year, maybe in March. But yeah, I'm working on a little day trading content. It's been really, really helpful for me in terms of just being able to get positioned for these bigger moves, but not breathing and living every little tick in my favor, my tick against me. And the reason being, I'm keeping that steadier flow of income, call it, from my efforts on the future side of things, the day trading side of things. So yeah, more on that to come. Good morning, Tim Carvana. Hope you had a good weekend there, Tim. They do go by quick. Weekly, a 3-day, a 2-day, a daily, and a 4-hour, and a 2-hour squeeze. Carvana says, squeeze me. I really like the weekly. Earnings on the 29th. You got a few weeks. So for the weekly squeeze, question will become: can I catch the pop in the 440-ish? Which, if they do fire it and break it out, that should be a decent target. Can I catch that between now and earnings? You could, of course, but you may be like a little bit more time in a few weeks. But I think it's a nice bullish weekly squeeze, and then 3-day time frame. Overall, pretty bullish. The 2-day time frame. Um, could use a little momentum kick, but overall pretty bullish. I like it a lot. Again, I think the question is between now and earnings, do they want to go and get that big breakout through 400, which I believe would be your all-time high? Yeah, I mean it's a big breakout, or for now a big breakout level. What I would say is if they can't get it before earnings, come take a look afterwards. That might be the catalyst to finally get it going through, or give it a little motivation to try to get going through. One safe bet for now: when it does get going, it should really get going. 2 hour, 4 hour, daily, 2-day, 3-day, weekly squeeze. A lot of energy being built up. Oh yeah, Tom, absolutely. I'll take a screenshot for you. Now these will change here at the open when we get live data for today's session. But let me get a nice screenshot for you. If I can stop clicking too many buttons, there you go. Yeah, well, we'll see where AMD opens. When I saw it in the pre-market, I'm like, all right, I got to go do. I've had big trades before where I'm there, 4 o'clock in the morning. I'm watching every little. It's like, oh god, it's at 200, and now it's at 198. Oh no, and then 205, 215. So now I'm just like, all right, you know what? It's gonna open where it opens. I can't change where it opens. Life was pretty good before the giant gap up. Maybe we'll be a little better afterwards, but we shall see. We shall see. And then I'll grab top 20 for you. Actually, I'll do a little better than top 20 for you. Let's go. Yeah, we'll do that. All right, my friend. Screenshots. Couple of screenshots in the chat for you. Yeah, Mike. So the spreadsheet is where this all kind of started from. The whole backstory is I created the scoring system. Let's go grab the AMD monthly. So whole journey has been, original Squeeze to the Squeeze Pro. The Squeeze Pro to, all right, well, here's 15 things that really make these things, tick. That turned into my own version of the Squeeze. That turned into my scoring system. So, I figured out, all right, if AMD has a 6 out of 15 on that daily time frame, that can mean one thing for the daily chart. But what if I go look at maybe 8 different time frames? The main time frames I like to trade. So 8 different time frames, looking for about 15 different criteria. 8 times 15 is 120. So we figured out that bigger picture, top down point of view, stocks at 120 points, they're the strongest. That turned into doing the spreadsheet, copy and pasting. That turned into the dashboard here with all that live data. So now when the market opens all throughout the session, it does all that math for us and updates it all in real time. But yeah, kind of cool. I'll begin with a little checklist in terms of, are we above that 21 EMA? Are we below the 50? Do we have stacked EMAs? How's my MACD? Is my 50 trending higher? Is it flat? Where's my 200? Where's my 5? SS, really good question. I only do that for futures. So for futures trading, I'll keep the extended hours on, but then cash indexes, equity stocks, I keep it off. And you'll get different answers depending on who you ask. Um, what I found is keeping it on for the equities, it can make some, call it, false signals. For example, you got the extended hours on, and there's a really good looking 30-minute squeeze, but then maybe with the extended hours off, you're at 30-minute resistance or something like that. Yeah, Mike, I'd love to see you in there, man. Any questions? We're here to help. All right, folks over on the tube of the U's. Good morning. Good morning. What's up, Ross? Harut. MicroStrategy. Yeah, I think Bitcoin's getting better. Let's take a peek. GBTC. All right, so Bitcoin overall making progress, and then futures. Futures are. Oh wow, jeez. What? How did I miss this? Oh, no kidding, huh? All right, well, somehow Bitcoin has just crept into a brand new all-time high without your pal T here. Did not give me the phone call. All right, Bitcoin looking much better. So that being said, MicroStrat. Let's get the weekly squeeze. It might not be an immediate thing, but I would anchor to your weekly squeeze. And right now, I think you're potentially a little bit like back here. You got the squeeze setting up. You're hanging out below your 21 EMA, but it's overall not a bad looking chart. They then go and get it. They then go and get it back above the 21. You get your two candle closes. Then they don't break it out that time. They hold it. They pull back. So if they can get it and keep it above 350, 360. Again, I don't think the immediate breakout, but with a strong Bitcoin, I do think they begin to work on the idea of trying to get it going. So you're maybe at a point in time like back here. Weekly squeeze setting up. You look for a couple closes back above your 21 EMA. Then they can stabilize it, get control. Then they think about, all right, it's maybe go time here off that big weekly squeeze. The timing you have right now is a weekly squeeze on the Bitcoin futures themselves. If they can break that one out and fire that one long, they maybe take the futures contract into 135, 140. That alone wouldn't guarantee a huge breakout in MicroStrategy, but it definitely wouldn't hurt it. Yeah, Kelly, AMD's doing all right here this morning. Yeah, that's pretty gnarly, huh? Goodness. 220. Wow. I'm telling you guys, if you hear me say something like, "Oh, give it 6 months," buy the shortest dated call you possibly can. I'm the guy telling you about a month ago. Oh, give Tesla in the end of Q4. Give it into January. It maybe gets in the 400. If you want to be really optimistic, maybe 415. And Tesla says, "All right, Taylor, I saw your tweet. We're going to go and do it now. All right." So yeah, AMD big pop there. We will ideally see that open 225 or higher, book the profit, and then go try to find another one. All right, Ross is watching SOUN. Eric, okay, good. I'm happy to hear that. Yeah, lot more coming on that. All right, SOUN. 5-minute and a 15-minute. You don't have any bigger time frame squeeze here for SOUN. But you do have a daily chart with the qualities that could keep an object in motion staying in motion. Bull momentum, bull structure, bull trend, 15 points at a 15. If they can keep that, you should get the ebbing and the flowing. Rally away from support, pull back to it, rebuild. Rally away from support, pull back to it, back up. Good way to play that. Catch it on lower time frame squeezes, 5-minute, 15-minute. Those kinds of things I like. Hey, what's up, John? Always nice to see your name. You're an OG, John. Yeah, Dash. I know Henry's watching it. I think Sam's watching it. When we did that little work there on the dashboard, right? Go to the home page and say, all right, out of these 1,300 names, all right, I only want names with 90% of their best score or better. That can thin the herd. I only want names that are right near their daily 21 EMA. That can further thin the herd, and I only want to trade, mega and large cap stocks. From 1,300 names are down to 6, DoorDash being one of them. No, I definitely really like it. 4-hour squeeze, a 3-day squeeze. And look, guys, we're in a bull market until we're not. Just always want to keep in mind, in the context of a bull market, we're going to get that, and we're going to get that, and we're going to get that. The mindset shift for me as of late has been on my swing trades, lean towards more time. And then again, with that day trading, I'm doing a 5-minute chart, a 15-minute, maybe a 3-minute. But it's a little bit like, hey, if I'm in a bull market and I give myself the gift of time on the best possible setups in the strongest parts of the market, I will never have a 100 or a 90% win rate, but it's all going to work out in my favor over the course of every 25, 50, 100 trades you take. And what I mean by that is, because I've done this so many times and it sucks. I jump in, I buy DoorDash right now in a fashion where if they pull it back to 260, I'm wicked uncomfortable. And that translates to what? I bought too much of it. And you're getting antsy, you stop out, you move on to a different name. Point I'm trying to make is I think a great time right now to be long, but be long in a fashion in terms of your sizing, your time till expiration. If the market does pull back and to be very clear, I don't have any signs of it happening anytime soon. Knock on wood, famous last words. But be long in a fashion where, hey, if things pull back for a bit, things chop for a bit, and it doesn't kill the market, you're comfy, you're chilling, and ideally you're buying more. But all right, y'all, I'm going to cut you loose here. Thank you for your time as always. Folks over in my room, folks over in the MTT room, I shall catch you in a minute. We'll handle AMD, see what's up with Tesla, and do what we do. But thank you again, guys and gals. Welcome back. Have a great week. And yeah, we will touch bases, same time, same channel on Wednesday morning. Adios.